All right, welcome everybody. Today you are going to be building a 3D pumpkin. So this is what it looks like when it's done. This one's bigger than what you'll be building. It'll be a little bit smaller. This one's a very long print. So you'll build it with a lid though. Have a nice little offset color here. And you could put something like a little electronic tea candle in there. You absolutely should not be putting a real candle in here. A real candle will melt this and catch it on fire. Your house will be full of the smell of burning plastic. Incredibly dangerous. Don't do that. I will give you a little LED tea light to put in it for free. Have it. Don't ever use a real candle. Even with the lid off, don't use a real candle. The plastic will get hot in there and it'll melt and just droop down to the candle and catch a fire. So do not use real candles. Hopefully that was obvious, but if it wasn't, there it is. All right. So first thing we need to do is we need to save our design. So I'm going to actually save my design up here. Click on the little save icon. I'm going to call mine, I'm going to call it Jack-o'-lantern. And I'm going to call mine video version as well because I like to know which one I actually recorded because I've modeled several of these at this point. I'm going to put mine in my 3D printed projects, but I really encourage you to start creating some structure to your files. If you get into this, you might have a lot of files coming up. So if you click this down arrow here, you can do a new project, name it something you want to name it. You can even name it Jack-o'-lantern. You might have several versions with sizes and faces and things like that you want to try out. And then I'm going to hit save here. Okay, Jack-o'-lantern video version is ready to rock and roll. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create the overall outside shape of it. So we're going to draw a sketch that kind of matches this contour around the outside edge of the pumpkin. To do that, I'm going to click on the front face, create my sketch here in the front. I did create sketch button. Now the front face where I'm going to create my sketch. I'm going to grab a line. I want it to be a real line, not a construction line. Drag it up, and we're going to make that 55 millimeters high. And I'm going to move this line, the measurement line, out to the side. And now I'm going to grab the Spline Tool, and I'm going to create a curve that kind of matches it. And to do it, I'm going to create 7 points. So I just clicked once there, come over here, click again. I'm going to go a little bit below that one, and then a little bit above where it was. And I'm going to try and stay inside maybe 60. So I'm going to come here, and then come, that's like 55, so I can go like 60 out here. So that's the third point I'm doing. 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm going to end here with the 7th one. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points out there. And now I can see, okay, that's sort of like half a pumpkin. So I'm just going to clean a few things up. On the top of a pumpkin, it comes in. I've got a gourd here just so you can see. It kind of curls over, then it goes flat where the stem is. So I'm going to flatten this out. To do that, I'm going to hit escape to leave the spline tool. I'm going to zoom in. These green this green line just tells the slope, the shape of the curve at that point. So if I want a flat top, I just need to bring this in and flatten it out just like that. And then I can just come in here and look for stuff. Like right here, there's like a weird little like missing part, like it's like not really curvy there. I'm going to pull that in. Maybe I'm going to pull this down a little bit. Maybe I'm going to pull this. I want it up higher. I actually want some bump to it up there at the top. Okay, that's a little lumpy. There we go. I might pull this up a little bit. I don't want it to go too far down below the plane. And maybe pull this out. And now pumpkins are a little bit boxy, so I want to kind of shoot for that sort of almost vertical face through here. Yeah, I think that might do it. I'm going to try it out at least. So first thing, maybe a little bit too much. I want to see what it looks like in 3D. So I'm going to use this tool called Revolve. So once you get kind of what you want to see what it looks like, you're going to come up here, you're going to do finish sketch. Oh, and make sure that your farthest point is around 60. So there's 50, 55, 60. Don't let it be too much farther out. It just gets to be too big of a thing to print. Okay, finish sketch, and I'm going to go revolve. It's going to Fusion guess that, hey, I want to revolve this thing I just made, which makes sense. And now it's asking me, it's already got my profile selected. It's asking me what my axis is, what I want to revolve around. And I want to revolve this around this midpoint right there. And you can see what it does is it just, I'll go to the home view here at the top. I can just kind of rotate it around. It shows you the general shape. And you know what? That looks pretty solid to me. I mean, that looks pumpkin-y. I'm gonna click OK. And yeah, I think that might be good. If you want to change something, here's a really cool trick you can do. If you come back over here and you just open up your sketch folder, turn the sketch back on, you could grab one of these points. You have to rotate it around where you can see the point. Like for example, if the sketch is behind, I'm gonna have a hard time grabbing it. So what I need to do is just rotate my sketch around so I can see the sketch line. If I just grab this in real time, I can stretch that and it'll show me what it does, right? That is not a pumpkin shape. So I'm gonna Control Z and undo that. And I think that's, for me, that's the shape I'm going with. So I'm gonna turn that sketch off again. And I'm actually gonna come down here, and I don't want this shape because we need to add the ribs to it. So I'm gonna right click on it and I'm gonna do what's called suppress feature. What that does, it just turns it off, but it doesn't delete it. So later on, if I need to see that again for some reason, I can turn it back on. All right, so next thing we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to tell Fusion what the shape of the pumpkin is at different layers of the pumpkin. That's how we're gonna build out these lobes. Here's what this looks like. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create a construction plane. And we're gonna create that construction plane off of this layer right here. And we're gonna bring, actually let's not do that yet. Let's not start there yet. Let's just create a sketch real quick. We're gonna create a sketch on this bottom plane right there. And we need, I'm gonna tip the sketch a little bit to the side. Normally I don't sketch at an angle like this, but because I have this other sketch open, I need to see it. I'm gonna just tip it a little bit. We need to know where this blue line crosses our plane, where it runs into it. To do that, we're gonna do Control-Shift-Z, or actually what we're gonna do really is create, project include, and an intersect command. And then we're gonna click on this blue thing here. So we're gonna make sure it doesn't say bodies. You're gonna click it over to entities, because this blue line's not a body. And we're gonna click on the blue line, and notice it puts a little red dot there. That's where that blue line crosses our sketch. So, and that's what intersect means. So click there, and then you click OK. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw a polygon, and we're gonna draw an inscribed polygon. We're gonna click here. We're gonna turn it to a construction line type. A shortcut for that is just pushing the letter X. We'll turn this on, and X will turn it off again. So you can see I can toggle it on and off with just X. I want it to be a construction line, so I'm gonna click in the center here. And now I've got to decide how many lobes. There's gonna be one lobe, one of these little blobs, per side of the polygon. So at this point I'd have 6 lobes. A standard pumpkin has 10, but you can use whatever number you think looks good. I'm gonna use that standard number. So I'm gonna hit Tab over there. Instead of 6, I'm gonna type in 10. And now I'm just gonna go to this purple point where the shape crosses and click. All right, now I've got to actually draw the lobes. So to do that, I'm gonna do Create, and I'm gonna do an arc and a 3-point arc. I'm gonna push X to turn off the construction line. I want this to be a real line. I'm gonna click on one corner of and then click on the other corner next to it, and then just drag out a lump. The only thing I don't want to do is drag out my lump so it's like there. If you can see that there are these little symbols right there, meaning tangent, which means this curve comes perfectly off the other line. That's the only place I don't want to click. If I click here, I'll show you what happens. My line goes black. I hit escape. I can't move this line. Let me turn off sketch one real quick. I can't move this line because it's stuck in place. If you get trapped like that where your line went black right away, you need to just Control Z and undo it until it's gone. And then you can come back up here and you can do Create, Arc, 3-point arc, and do it again. So click on one corner, click on the other corner, and then just drag it out till it's a nice big bump. It should stay blue like that. When I hit escape now, ooh man, that sketch is getting in the way big time. I'm gonna turn off sketch one real quick, and now I can make it bigger and smaller. I'm gonna use a pretty lumpy one like this. Don't let your lump get past that, where that center point here is on this line. That's the lumpiest one you can do. Anything beyond that, the two lumps will start overlapping each other. So I'm going to come back down here. That looks pretty good for now. I'm going to try to do the next thing. So create circular pattern. I'm going to click. I already had this one clicked. If I didn't, I need to click it. My center point is here. And even though this is it's a 6 or 10-sided polygon, it's actually in a circle. So I can use a circular pattern for this. I'm going to create 10 of these, and notice how it just made a lump on all of them. The nice thing about using a circular pattern now, if I just grab any one of them, they all change together because they were patterned together. So I'm going to now decide kind of how lumpy I want it to be, and I think that looks pretty good. We can always edit it later. So I'm going to click on here to finish sketch. I'm going to turn sketch 1 back on and go back to the home view, and you can see kind of what we've done. So this is the outside shape of our pumpkin, and we have now here, we want these lobes to be here at this level of the pumpkin. And as we move up, this drawing here will get bigger and then it'll get smaller. It's pretty cool stuff. So let's name some stuff so we don't get lost. So sketch 1, I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to call this one profile. That's our outside profile there. And then this one is going to be called layer 1. Enter. And now I've got those done. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn off layer 1. I'm going to create, let me leave layer 1 actually. I'm going to create a construction plane. I'm going to click on this first layer. And then here where it says distance, I'm going to choose to object. And I want to run this. So I'm going to turn to the right here. I want the next one to be at this point right there. So click there. Notice how it made a plane right there for me to work on. And that's where my next sketch is going to go. So I'm going to click OK, create sketch. I'm going to create a sketch on that plane. And now I'm going to hide the lower sketch so it's not in the way. I'm going to tip it a little bit so I can see what's going on, because again I have this weird thing right here. And I'm going to go Control Shift Z. That's the Intersect tool, or you could go create project include intersect every time. And I'm going to say intersect this one, and notice it happens at that point because that's where we put our layer. So okay, that was a good thing to notice. Create polygon and an inscribe polygon starting here at the middle of the sketch. Don't grab this dot down there to the middle of the sketch there. I'm going to tab over, make 10, and then come over here and turn on the construction lines, come to purple, and there. Hit X to turn off the construction line. Create an arc, 3-point arc. This time I'm going to create my arc. Don't create it underneath this sketch. Create it like somewhere where it's not with it. In fact, escape. I'm going to create my 3-point arc somewhere else entirely. So arc, 3-point arc. I'm going to come way over here on this side and create it. That way this other sketch doesn't get in my way. So click on that one corner, click on the corner next to it, drag it out to something big and lumpy, and then we're going to do a quick create circular pattern. And our axis is going to be around here, and we're going to do this 10 times. Enter. And now let's take a look at what we have. Boom. We've created 2 of our 3 sketches. So I'm going to finish the sketch really quick. I'm going to call this sketch 3. I'm going to call it layer 2. And what we're going to do now is, you can kind of see what we're doing, and it's getting bigger. We're going to keep that process up, and we're going to make another sketch for this, at this level, this level, this level, and that level. All right, we'll do it in the next video. Great job so far.